Tokyo, as Japan heads toward an extraordinary diet session expected next month, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party (LDP) finds itself caught in a tense standoff, not with the public, but with the country's opposition parties, many of whom have already dismissed the LDP's internal, next president, narrative as irrelevant to Japan's democratic process. With the prime ministerial nomination election looming, political tempers are flaring, battle lines are being drawn, and questions of legitimacy and transparency are fueling a larger conversation about political accountability in Japan. The political atmosphere in Nagatake is thick with anticipation. Behind closed doors and in hushed backroom negotiations, power brokers within the LDP continue to weigh their options following Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's decision to step down earlier than expected. Yet, while factions jostle for control over who will be the next LDP president, and, by extension, Japan's next prime minister, the opposition has made it clear, this internal drama is not theirs to endorse. Opposition skepticism. LDP president does not equal national leader. A senior lawmaker from the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, CDP, summed up the opposition's stance bluntly: "We don't elect a party president. We elect a national leader." This statement reflects the growing discomfort among opposition ranks regarding what they see as a decoupling of LDP internal power politics from the broader democratic principles expected of national governance. According to CDP policy chief Junya Ogawa, the LDP's next president may win the internal game, but that doesn't give them a public mandate. It's dangerous to let one party monopolize the narrative of who gets to lead the country, especially when their popularity is on the decline. Ogawa's remarks have been echoed by Nippon Ishin, Japan Innovation Party, the Democratic Party for the People (DPP), and even the Japanese Communist Party (JCP), all of whom are calling for transparency, public accountability, and even the possibility of a snap general election to confirm the next prime minister's legitimacy. A fragile coalition. LDP-Komito alliance under scrutiny. Meanwhile, cracks are emerging within the LDP-Komito coalition itself. Komito, the LDP's longtime partner, has reportedly expressed concern over being sidelined in discussions about the next LDP president. While publicly reiterating its commitment to stability and continuity, party insiders suggest that Komito is wary of endorsing a candidate who lacks public support or is overly beholden to factional interests. A Komito lawmaker, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed, "We have always valued cooperation, but the LDP must not assume that Komito will rubber stamp whoever they put forward. The public mood has changed. We cannot afford to ignore that." This raises the stakes for the upcoming extraordinary diet session, where both chambers of the Japanese parliament will vote on the next prime minister. While the LDP still holds a majority in the more powerful House of Representatives, any visible cracks in coalition unity could impact the legitimacy of the outcome. The faction war within the LDP. At the center of the LDP's internal debate are three prominent candidates: Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa, former Defense Minister Shigeru Ishiba, and Digital Minister Taro Kono. Each represents different factions and ideological orientations within the party, and none commands a clear majority of support. Kamikawa, seen as a technocrat with international credibility, has support from moderates and some younger lawmakers. Ishiba, known for his independent streak and rural policy focus, enjoys popularity with grassroots LDP members but faces resistance from faction leaders. Kono, who enjoys strong public approval and a dynamic media presence, is viewed as a maverick, loved by voters but distrusted by traditionalists. This three-way tug-of-war threatens to weaken the LDP's image of unity and decisiveness, further emboldening opposition voices who argue that the party is more interested in preserving power than addressing Japan's pressing issues, from inflation and aging demographics to geopolitical uncertainty in East Asia. Public opinion. A growing demand for direct accountability. According to a recent NHK poll, nearly 58% of respondents believe that the next prime minister should be chosen through a general election rather than internal party mechanics. This sentiment is particularly strong among younger voters and urban constituencies. Political commentator Takashi Mikuriya explains, "The public's patience with backroom politics is wearing thin. The LDP can't afford to ignore the growing disconnect between its internal maneuvering and public sentiment. If they proceed with a top-down approach, it may backfire in the next general election." Indeed, the opposition parties are seizing this moment to argue for broader electoral reform. CDP leader Kenta Izumi has proposed a set of democratic revitalization measures, including mandatory televised debates for party leaders and clearer procedures for leadership transitions. The extraordinary diet session. More than just a vote. The upcoming Diet session, expected to convene in mid-August, is being viewed as more than a procedural vote. It will serve as a litmus test for the LDP's ability to manage its internal divisions and for opposition parties to articulate a coherent alternative vision. While the LDP remains confident that the nomination of its next president will proceed smoothly and that the Diet vote will confirm their candidate, opposition parties are preparing to challenge the process at every step. CDP and Ishan are reportedly considering submitting a joint resolution questioning the legitimacy of appointing a new prime minister without public input. Though such a resolution is unlikely to pass, it could reignite debate on the scope of executive legitimacy in Japan's parliamentary system. International implications. Watching Japan's leadership transition. Japan's allies, including the United States and other G7 members, are closely monitoring the leadership transition. At a time when the Indo-Pacific region faces significant geopolitical challenges, Japan's leadership stability is crucial. A fractured domestic political scene could raise questions about Japan's diplomatic continuity, especially regarding security cooperation, economic diplomacy, and climate policy. According to diplomatic sources, several foreign governments have quietly reached out to Japanese officials seeking clarity on who is likely to emerge as the next prime minister and whether key policies will remain unchanged. Opposition strategy, pressure from below and unity above all. For opposition parties, the current moment represents both a challenge and an opportunity. While the fragmented nature of the opposition has long been a weakness, the emerging unity in their criticism of the LDP's internal process marks a rare moment of alignment. Behind the scenes, talks are intensifying about forming a temporary cross-party alliance, not necessarily for long-term cooperation but to exert maximum pressure during the extraordinary Diet session. Such a coalition could amplify public criticism, delay proceedings, and force concessions in policy or procedure. Even if we can't win the prime ministerial vote, we can win the narrative, said one opposition strategist. This is a chance to show the public that there is a democratic alternative to one-party rule. Conclusion. A test of democracy in the shadows of power. As Japan's political elite prepare for a dramatic showdown in the extraordinary Diet session, the stakes could not be higher. For the LDP, the challenge lies not only in choosing the right leader but also in restoring trust in a system increasingly seen as opaque and exclusive. For the opposition, the goal is to disrupt the status quo, question the legitimacy of power handed down through factional deals, and push for a more participatory democratic process. Whether this will lead to a fundamental shift in Japanese politics or simply a continuation of business as usual depends on what unfolds in the coming weeks. But one thing is certain. The next president of the LDP may not automatically be accepted as the legitimate next leader of Japan.